Day 1 of our West Highland Way hike began from Milngavie, pronounced Mulgai. We were very keen to start. After touching the obelisk, we headed through the park with Scholars' Rocks. The trees swayed in the gentle wind. At the end of Mugdock Park, the path joined a country lane, then back onto a path with Allender water flowing to our left. Soon, we reached Craigellachlan Loch, then the colourful hamlet of Carbeth. Think Tom Bombadil's house. Next, the Dumgoyach Standing Stones and Blaine Water passed us by. We had soup and a pint at the Beech Tree Inn. We passed Turnip the beach shop right next to the path and crossed over Gartner's Bridge with Endrick Water flowing beneath. Finally, the flowers of Drymen welcomed us to our campsite. 13.5 miles and 29,000 steps. Not bad for day 1. Day 2 of our West Highland Way hike began leaving Drymen campsite, heading to Sallochy campsite. Through a spooky hedgerow and a path with flowers as tall as me. We walked through Garethburn Forest, where the tall trees stood as sentinels of ages past, watching over us. The forest eventually gave way to breathtaking views of Loch Lomond and Connick Hill. We crossed over a wooden bridge with the Burn of Mar flowing beneath us. We laboured up Connick Hill to be greeted with serene views of Loch Lomond and the surrounding mountains. After lunch at the Oak Tree Inn, the path hugged the shores of Loch Lomond with the gentle sound of water lapping the edges. After walking through a forest path, we came upon Sallochy campsite, home for the evening. Tent set up, fire gently whispering. We relaxed after walking 17 miles and 39,000 steps at the end of day 2. Day 3 of our West Highland Way hike, from Sallochy campsite to Beinglas campsite. With a sunny morning, we passed a lone swing as we headed to Rowadennan Hotel for breakfast. Well fed, we continued onwards, taking the low path, not the high path. The low path hugs Loch Lomond, with the gentle sounds of water lapping the sides. We massaged our feet at an open clearing before heading on past Rochoish Bothy. The path's twists and turns took us to the majestic Inversnaid waterfall. Continuing on through steps carved through stone, we saw the great acorn seats of Treebeard. The path of fern with tall mountains in the distance lay before us. With the loch beside us, we were content. Passing Doon, Byre Bothy signalled the end of Loch Lomond. The cosy haven of Beinglas campsite awaited us. Tonight we slept in cosy beds after 23.5 miles and 52,000 steps. Day 4 of our West Highland Way hike, from Beinglas campsite to Tyndrum. Onwards with River Falloch flowing beside us. Through farmlands with sheep casually grazing, the sounds of a waterfall could be heard and then seen. We eventually came to a nice small white cottage. The river gently flowed outside its doorstep. Ascending a small hill, we stopped to admire the views around us. Crouching, we passed under a very low bridge, shortly followed through a tunnel beneath the A82 road. The route is incredibly well marked. Crianlarich lay not too far away. Passing the Lochan of the Lost Sword, we reached By the Way hostel and campsite in Tyndrum, our home for the night. Bilbo's hobbit hut greeted us after walking 14 miles and 34,000 steps. Day 5 of our West Highland Way hike, we began refreshed from breakfast at the Real Food Cafe. Heading past the Green Welly stop, the path is parallel with the A82 road. Rain gently drizzled down, sporadically giving way to blue sky and sun. We are halfway into our adventure with mountains filling every view. Walking this part is so different compared to when I ride my motorbike through here. One gets to absorb the scenery, aromas and ambience. Alt Kinglas flowed beneath us, with Alt Kinglas Viaduct in the far distance. Leaving the curious cows behind, the rain came again. Passing through the bridge of Orchy train station and fire station, our home for the night came into view. We relished in our cosy little cottage and had lunch and dinner, eager for what tomorrow brings. We had walked 9 miles and 19,000 steps. Day 6 of our West Highland Way hike began with crossing the bridge of Orchy. The steep walk uphill had harvested trees of a once great forest. The Bridge of Orchy Hotel stood like the last homely house of Rivendell, guarded by elven sentinels guised as mountains. The distant loch's waters mirrored the sky's grey clouds as the midges swarmed us. Passing Inverurin Hotel, we continued on over Altolligan. Abhain Shira flowed gently under Victoria Bridge. Soon, the expanse of Rannoch Moor. A vast stretch of boggy moorland, with the A82 road in the distance. Crossing many small rivers, we found the ruins of Bar Cottage, a home in ages past. The path began to ascend steeply, then descend towards Glencoe Mountain Resort, our home for the night. Frodo's Hobbit hut welcomed us after walking 13.6 miles and 30,000 steps. Day 7 of our West Highland Way hike began with the sunrise painting the sky with shades of orange and pink, with a strange mist hanging in the air. Passing the King's House Hotel, we were attacked by midges. The lonely mountain stood tall, a place which Dane Ironfoot could gladly call home. The Devil's Staircase loomed before us, a short, steep challenge, but the views were totally worth it. During our adventure, we met many friendly people with their own interesting stories. Ben Nevis and the Grey Corries mountain range could be seen in the distance. Heading down to Kinlochleven, our legs were tired, but our spirits were high. Arriving at our cabin, we ended the day with a hearty dinner and a sense of accomplishment. As night fell, the relaxing sound of rain could be heard. We had walked 14 miles and 32,000 steps. Day 8, final day of our West Highland Way hike. Uphill through the forest, looking back, Kinlochleven looked peaceful. The serene Loch Lomond disappeared behind a mountain as we walked on the old military road. Grey heavy clouds filled the sky. At the old cottage ruins, the rain fell fast and heavy. Streams crossing the path gushed across, eager to join Loch Lomond. In ages past, the Campbells used this path to retreat from the MacDonalds. Sheep grazed beside a fern path. Soon, Ben Nevis came into view, its summit shrouded in cloud. A path to an old fort lay to our right, whilst the view in front was of Fort William. We arrived into Fort William, summoning our last vestiges of strength to reach the Sore-Feet statue. We loved every moment of this adventure. Exhausted and happy after walking 19 miles and 42,000 steps,